In today's lesson, we're going to talk more about slope. So in the previous lessons, we have talked about how little m represents slope. Anytime we see m, that means slope. So today, we're going to be given an equation. And let's say we have the equation y equals 1/3 x plus 4. So in this equation, what's new is that we have two variables given to us. There is an x and there is a y. All right. We don't need to worry about that so much today. Right now, we just need to know that we're going to be given everything in the form of what we call y equals mx plus b. This is what we call slope intercept form. Okay, slope intercept form. There's two reasons why we call it slope intercept form. Because slope, as we said a second ago, is always represented by the m. So wherever the m is, that is our slope in the problem. Notice that m usually sits right in front of the x. Okay, so all you have to do is find the x in your equation given to you and see what's sitting right in front of the x, and then that is your slope. So if we go back to the given equation here, we see that 1/3 sits right in front of the x. So our slope is 1/3. That means from previous lessons that we have a rise of 1 and a run of 3. We're going up 1, right 3, up 1, right 3, up 1, right 3. If we have another equation that says y equals -1/2 x minus 3, this is also in the form of y equals mx plus b. Once again, slope is our m, and m usually sits in front of the x. So if we look into the equation, we want to see what sits right in front of the x. And in this case, we have -1/2. So our slope is -1/2. This situation, if you're thinking about what the picture looks like, it tells me to go down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. Okay? Let's have you guys do an easy one. Let's say we have y equals 2/3 x plus 5. So by looking at the equation, what is the slope in the equation? And we said it usually sits right in front of the x. So hopefully you said it was 2/3. And that slope means go up 2, right 3, up 2, right 3. Okay? Let's look at a couple tricky situations that usually sometimes happen and kids make mistakes on. Let's say we have this one, y equals x plus 4. Where is our slope here? Okay, so once again, we said the slope usually sits right in front of the x. So if I look here, what's in front of the x right here? Hopefully you didn't say 0. There's always a 1 right there, right? So our slope is 1. But wait, I thought we wanted to rise over a run. So how do we turn any number into a fraction? You can simply say over 1. So our slope is 1 or 1/1, which means goes up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Okay? That's the same situation if we have y equals 3x minus 2. Well, our slope sits right in front of the x, so our slope in this case is 3. But if we want to turn that into a rise over a run, we simply put it over 1. So our slope would be 3/1. Up 3, right 1, up 3, right 1. Okay? So this situation, when it's just an x, there's a 1 in front. Okay? This is also one kids make mistakes on. If we see this. Y equals -x minus 3. Well, our slope sits right in front of the x. There's a number there. It's a 1. So our slope is -1. So you need to be careful. Okay? So be careful when it's just x or -x. Alright? And one more I want to talk about with you. Let's say we have this. Y equals 8. Well, we said it has to be in the form of y equals mx plus b, and the slope usually sits right in front of our x. Well, where's our x in this problem? There is not an x. So therefore, this time our slope is 0. Okay? So think about the picture. When the slope is 0, then our line was horizontal, right? It had arrows on the rooftop. There was no runoff. Okay, we can have slope of being 0. So, final catch, if we have this one, be careful. Y equals x minus 3. There's a number in the front, it's a 1. Slope is 1. If we have this situation, y equals -x plus 4, there's a 1 here as well. Slope is -1. If we have this situation, y equals 5, and there's no x, then our slope is 0. And if we just had an equation that said y equals 1/4 x plus 2, well then the slope is easy to spot. It sits right in front of the x. Slope is 1/4. Okay? So that is what we're looking at today in class. We're also going to do some review problems today of finding slope the other two previous ways we've been doing it. So if you did not watch those videos, this will be a quick tip of how to do that. If you were given a graph, and let's say you had a point here, and you had a point here, and your line looked like this, and we wanted to find the slope from the line. We simply put our pencil in one of the 2 points, or pretend we have a little guy standing at one of the 2 points, and let's say my little guy is standing at this bottom point, and we want to know what does it take to get from here to the other point. So my guy has to go, this is what we called rise over run to find slope. So my guy from here has to rise up. We're going to count that movement. We're going to go up 1, 2, 3 times, and going up to positive direction. So he has a rise of a positive 3. And then he's got to run either to the right or to the left. Well, our guy's going to run to the right 1 time. So then I have a run of 1. So my slope is 3/1, or we just saw we could write it as 3. Okay? So you're going to be getting some review problems doing this. Remember from previous lessons in class, if we get this, the slope is 0. And if we get one that looks like this, we cannot have that type of roof. We called that undefined. Okay? This is where you do the problem and you get a 0 on the top. So this is like 0/3. And this is where if you do the problem, you get a 0 on the bottom because we cannot divide by 0. Okay, and that leads into the other way we've been finding slope, is off of tables. And you'll be given some of these today too. So if you had this situation for a table, this we called the change in y over the change in x. So if we look on the y side, we have a change of adding 2. And on the x side, we have a change of adding 1. So our change in y was a positive 2, and our change in x was positive 1. So our slope is 2/1, or once again, just 2. If we had a table that looked like this, our change in y, we're getting bigger and we're adding 3 each time. But on our x side, we're getting smaller, we're decreasing. We are taking away 2 each time. So our change in y is a positive 3, our change in x is a negative 2. So our slope is 3 over negative 2. Okay? And if we were given 2 points, and we wanted to find the slope between those two, we simply just made a mini table. 1 and 2 went like that. 3 and 5 goes there. And we do the same thing. Change from 2 to 5, we're adding 3. Change from 1 to 3, we're adding 2. So the slope is 3 over 2. Okay? So today's lesson is assignment number 12. And that was finding the slope out of the equations. So this is assignment 12. Okay? And then in class, we were going to do some review off of finding slope from a graph picture. This was assignment 10. And then assignment 11 was finding slope out of tables and out of points. So make sure you're familiar with how to do all 3 ways.